Well, this is something that my dad used to say anytime he wanted to change the conversation. Have you read any good books lately? But hey, the way in which we read books is certainly changing from back in my day and possibly from back in yours as well. Joining us on the program, our literary correspondent, Elizabeth Kirkby McLeod. Kia ora, thanks for joining us today.
Hello, Andrew. Lovely to be here.
When I think books, I mean proper books, you know, ones that you can pick up, ones that make a noise when you drop them. I prefer hardback, but paperback will do as long as it's not too thick a copy, because then you just end up with creases in weird places. However, I might be in a minority. The way people do books nowadays, it's all different.
Actually, not as different as you might think. So let's some statistics. Now, these have come from a couple of years ago, so things are changing really fast.
Mm-hmm.
But in New Zealand, 85% of adults have read a book in the last year, so that's pretty good. And that's higher for young people, which might suggest that either we're putting more energy into encouraging young people to read.
Yep.
But of those, 96% of people say they've read a print book.
Yes.
So it is still the most popular format. But 55% people, so about half, read on e-book, so an electronic book of some sort.
Yeah.
And there's also, of course, audiobook. 31% of adults in that survey said that they listen to audiobooks. Now, only 1%, so a very tiny amount of people, or just use audio, and only 2% just use ebooks. So there is still a good amount of people that love the print book, just like you do, but they're missing out those formats.
Exactly. Now, I can see the advantage, although I've never taken advantage of the advantage. For example, especially if you're traveling, you just throw your Kindle into your hand luggage and you've got a huge library that you're taking with you. The book's not going to get damaged. It's not, there's no problem of losing your place and all that type of stuff. I know people that are born-again Kindle readers. Really, this has become the new way that they access great literature. And hey, I'm all about removing the obstacles. Are you a Kindle fan, Libby?
So I am like you. If I have a preference, I read a print book. But it is really true that ebooks can be good for difficult to find titles. And so a lot of people, for example, that are into Christian romance, or I think it was Di used to say to me she really liked Amish romance.
She does.
Well, you're not going to get a huge amount of that at your local New Zealand bookstore. So it opens up a much wider range of books that you can access.
Yep.
And I do ebooks from time to time if I have a title I really like, maybe it's from overseas and I just can't get hold of it, or it's going to cost me a lot of money to get the hard copy version sent to me. And ebooks are great for that. It
is cheaper, I suppose. It is better for the environment. That may be something which some people say, no, that's an important thing. And actually, it's much faster as well, particularly with the demise of Book Depository. If you want a physical book and you're buying it online, shipping's getting slightly better than it used to be, but we're still talking, weeks, months to get the book in your hands. Whereas if you order an ebook online, seconds, you're jumping into the book immediately. Big advantage in that, I suppose.
Yes, and so I always say to people, and this is what I do, if there's a difficult to find book, I will always ask my bookshop first if they can get it for me.
Yeah.
So don't jump to online. Do try to support your New Zealand booksellers.
Okay. Yep.
But there have been the odd book where, particularly if it's, say, a Christian book from overseas, that is just not easy for them to get. That can be really easily accessible on ebooks. Now, one thing I want to talk to you about is what I call the 1-2 punch with print and audio. Do you want to know about that?
Yeah, sounds good. Hit me with it.
Suit your lifestyle, Andrew. So this is where people love to read hard copies, but just don't find they have enough time to get through as many books as they would like.
Yeah.
So the 1-2 punch is you start at night with your hard copy. Maybe you read a chapter in the evening, and then in the morning you pick that book up on audio as you drive to work. And you listen to a chapter on your drive to work, listen to a chapter on the way home, read another chapter in your hard copy once you're at home and have a bit more time. And that way you can get through a book so much faster than if you only rely on the time to sit down and read a hard copy. So if you like books, but you struggle to get through as many as you would like, that's a really good way to do it.
Well, I'm going to push back on that one slightly, and I take your point about let's support our local booksellers, but people should be listening to the radio on their way to and from work, not listening to ebooks. And I know that that podcasts have probably got a bit to do with this way of redeeming the time of saying, hey, what can I do which is going to distract me, which is going to inform me as I travel? Podcast is part of that, but ebooks may be a part of that picture as well.
So audiobooks, and some people, I personally struggle to listen to audiobooks. My mind wanders too much.
Yeah.
And I don't mind wanders during a podcast because I can just kind of, flip back in. But if it wanders during an audiobook, I'm like, oh no, what's that character? What are they doing now? Oh no. So I personally don't find it easy to listen to audiobooks. But like I said, 31% of New Zealanders say they do it fairly regularly. So obviously a lot of people do like it as something you can do when you're walking,
Yep.
cleaning the house, driving in the car, if you're not listening to fabulous Rhema, of course.
Exactly. Thank you for that point. And hey, it may be a good thing to look at, especially if you've got summer road trips coming up, traveling with the family, instead of just playing music, perhaps an annoying children's music, rather than have the Wiggles playing on loop. Finding an ebook that the whole family can access, be able to listen to that, makes the road trip go a bit easier. Something else that I wanted to talk to you about, though, because audiobooks are a big thing, and it's a big market in itself, and there's a lot invested into that. But there's a new thing emerging where you don't really need an audiobook. All you need is some AI software which will read text. Now, the technology is emerging, and some of the pronunciation or the inflection is a little bit robotic, but we're certainly heading in a direction where actually having somebody reading the book for you, the price point's going to come way down on this one. This may be the way of the future.
Yeah, so AI narration is coming a long way. And for a long time, a lot of the audiobook marketplaces were very restrictive. So they wouldn't allow you to list your audiobook if it had AI narration.
Okay.
But because of the boom in AI, that is definitely changing. Now, I think the most exciting thing for AI narration is the ability to get a book, any book that you want to read,
Mm-hmm.
read to you your chosen voice and accent.
Wow.
So for example, there might be a Southern American voice actor that's voiced it, but you would find it much easier to listen to by a female with a Indian accent, for
Mm-hmm.
example. Now, AI will allow you to access, hopefully, and I think this is the most exciting thing coming in the future, to access audiobooks and to change the style of the narration to suit what you enjoy listening to.
Wow.
And I really exciting. And so, like I said, those marketplaces that have been that sell audiobooks have been very locked down on AI narration, but that is all changing, and I think we'll see a lot of development there in the next year or two.
And I think I know for people that are studying as well, being able to have your textbook read itself to you instead of just sitting there staring at that blurry words on the page. Certainly the way in which people engage with reading and with literature is changing. Do you think, I suppose, heading towards Christmas, of course, opportunities for people to buy some great literature, or perhaps, I don't know, a Kindle for grandma, an audiobook for a road trip, opportunities for people to jump in there?
Yes, absolutely. I think the most important thing is, if you're thinking about buying a gift for another person, is find out what they like to read. So there's no point, for example, buying Andrew Urquhart a book for a Kindle when he's just told you that he loves copies. Get him out.
I'd sell it on Trade Me and then use the money to buy a proper book. But yeah, do your research in that regard. But hey, certainly appreciate your enthusiasm for good literature. Elizabeth, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Andrew.